another one-shot thought thing. I'm just going at it because I want to get done this list. Of ADHD signs and symptoms that you might not have realized are related directly to ADHD, because it is way more than just hyperactivity. It is way more than just forgetfulness. This point is whisked away off track by emotional responses to pictures, music, etc., i.e., rabbit trails. I hate this song because part of it is so cool and part of it is just like, I want to kill you. How dare you? It's really maddening. Every time it starts, I'm like, I want that song. And then the other part of it starts and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I don't have it. Oh hey, my battery is down to 15%. I forgot about that. Because I started this when it was like 30-something% and I didn't plug it in. So, continuing. Rabbit trails. It's perfectly fine for me to be ooh-dee-dee-dee because that proves what rabbit trails are. But here's the problem. It's become very difficult when I'm trying to write my stories. I need something to listen to while I'm doing that, right? And it doesn't make sense that I would listen to a video of somebody talking while trying to write a story, because obviously that's going to be distracting. Like, obviously that's not going to work. That wouldn't work for a normal person, never mind an ADHD mind. So I have to listen to music, right? Here's the problem with listening to the music. If it's not the right mood, I have my music that I listen to, and it happens so fast and completely against my will. This happens with everybody, right? Especially music. Very quickly it gets connected to memories, right? It gets connected to emotions, or it gets connected to specific memory, or it gets connected to a feeling that certain memories give you, so a group of memories, because it connects you to a feeling. That happens with everybody, right? But I don't know if it happens worse with ADHD people or not. But the problem is, I wonder what the song is. What time is it? 57:53. Where's 57:53? Okay, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. What was I saying? There's a lot of times, I think you've seen it happen many times in stories. You've seen it happen in my videos before, and you just saw it happen just now, where sometimes I'm perfectly fine with rabbit trails taking me away because, like, I feel so scattered, it almost helps. Like, if my brain is tugging all over the place and trying to go all over the place and can't focus, sometimes it really does actually help to let it do that, because I'm like, okay, clearly you're doing that for a reason. Clearly there's like multiple things that you were trying to process. Maybe sometimes, I have come to realize lately that sometimes when my brain is trying to process multiple things, it actually all comes down to the root of, okay, I was actually trying to process this, but I didn't let myself. I kept jumping all over the place because I guess it was such a big thing that what I did was tried to break it down into this and this and this and this. They're all actually, you look at it and they all gave the same feeling that this did. And the whole reason that my brain is jumping all over the place between all of these is because I'm actually trying to process this, but this was too big or too mysterious or too, I don't have a proper way of processing it, so my way of processing it is to break it down into these things. Like, you know, if I watch a certain show and it gives me a certain feeling, and then all of a sudden I watch 3 or 4 other shows and I realize those all had the same feeling, why was I really drawn to those? And then I realized, okay, sorry, sister texted me. Talk about distractions. Yeah, trying to process something and actually my brain just automatically, that's how I process things, is to break it down. Maybe? I don't know. It's the only way I can, is if I break it down into. So that's a thing. I don't know if it made sense. I hope it did, because I can't go back and I can't remember everything I said. But that's a thing. But the rabbit trails sometimes, so like the point is, sometimes if my brain's going, I just actually need to just let it. Okay, it's going all over the place for a reason. Let it go all over the place and it will calm down on its own. I think sometimes that's a legitimate need, and I think sometimes I don't let it do that often enough. So it actually like builds up and gets even worse. Gets worse and worse and worse because I haven't let it do what it needs to do, which is to go pew. But rabbit trails, other times I'm like, I really didn't mean to, and I didn't want to, and even most importantly of all, I didn't need to go off on a rabbit trail, but it happened anyway, because while I was in the middle of doing something, my eye caught a video or a picture that went whew, off onto the whole topic of moods and ideas and whatnot that is related to that, or it heard something that went whew, off onto the whole mood and pictures and ideas and memories and etc. that I had with that. And this actually is something that I know happens all the time when I'm talking about really important things too. If I'm talking to people, it happened again recently. Sometimes I'm having an actual important discussion with someone about really important things, and I'll say something that isn't really related or isn't really the point. Like, we're trying to deal with this right now. Not that and not that, even if they are related. They are still separate cases, even if they're related. Or like, suddenly I get emotional and I say something that I'm like, okay, that was kind of stupid and I didn't even mean to say it. Why did I even say that? And I started to realize, like, yeah, it's related to this whole thing of, if I'm trying to remember something, you think I can remember it. But if I'm not trying to remember something, sometimes my brain does this automatic thing that's occasionally helpful, but usually really stupid and not helpful. It does this thing where, you know, like a word search in a document where, like, okay, the word connection. We're talking about something like connecting with people, and we're talking about this. But especially if I start to get emotional, my brain goes, hey, in 35 years, almost 35 years of life, how many times have you heard the word connection? How many different memories and story ideas and like ones that you've come up with or ones that you've seen other people come up with, or how many songs or how many pictures or how many stories or how many TV shows or how many memories? How many of these things can I think of that are connected to the word connected? Let's just go, whoop, here they all are. Woo, woo, woo. Who cares what the topic is? The topic is now just that one single word. And the feelings and emotionals and messed up whatevers that it has invoked in me. So that's always fun. It happens. So, rabbit trails. Whether I need to go off on it and I need to just let my brain do it, or whether I need to and I can't because I'm in a situation where I can't, or whether I didn't even mean to, or I didn't even want to, and I didn't even need to, but my brain just kind of did its own thing, like usual. You know how often people in stories describe people's hair as doing its own thing, whether they want it to or not? Yeah, that's what my brain does. It's very hard to control my brain. It's its own wild animal. My brain's like a cat, you know. It's just off. If it doesn't want to listen, it won't listen. It knows its name, but it won't come if you call its name unless it feels like it. So, rabbit trails. Emotional responses, especially emotional. If it's got an emotion connected to it, it'll go, whether I want it to or not. So, whisked away off track by emotional responses. Or other responses, but especially emotional responses. I.e. rabbit trails. When you need to and when you don't need to, and when it happens and when it doesn't happen. So what's your experience with stuff like that? Has it ever, I don't know, has it ever like ended up with like a really cool story or really exciting story? Does it always end with a tragedy of embarrassment or oops, that was really bad? Or does it sometimes end with something like really cool or adventuresome or hilarious in a good way? Not just a I feel your pain kind of funniness. Let me know. Bye. Thanks for watching.